Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. In today's video we're going to take a look at one of the many different warbands in Age of Sigmar Warcry. We're going to take a look at all the fighters available to this warband, what they do on the tabletop, the abilities the warband has, and how to build a foursome on the tabletop as well. Along with this we'll look at some interesting ally options as well for the warband. In today's video, we're going to take a look at getting started in Warcry for the Disciples of Tzeentch, using the Army's Vanguard box set. What's really cool about this set is that it can actually give you enough models to make a warband for both the Daemons of Tzeentch and the Acolyte of Tzeentch warbands as well. Today's video is sponsored by Gap Games, a fantastic miniature wargaming store in Queensland, Australia. They stock a wide variety of miniature wargames from all things Games Workshop to some of my personal favourites, Conquest of the Last Argument of Kings, and all things Modifius wargames as well. Use our affiliate code in the link below to help support both this fantastic store and the channel as well. Our hero in the box set leads our Arcanines, the Magister on Disc of Tzeentch. A fairly solid fighter with a defense of 4 and 25 wounds. It has both the Fly rune mark to go with its movement of 10 and the Leader rune mark as well, which will grant it access to two different abilities. Firstly, Locus of Sorcery, which can improve the strength of the model's ranged attacks, and secondly, Master of Destiny, which can add the value of the ability you're using here to the other ability dice used within 12 inch. Kairic Acolytes are a unit that comes with a multitude of different options, all of which can do varying things within the game. Most of the models will have no rune marks and have a couple of attacks at range. Let's now go look at all the different options the kit can give us. The Kairic Adept, first of all, is the unit champion option. This option has slightly more wounds than the others, better attack profiles, and also will have the Leader rune mark to grant access to the same Leader abilities that we mentioned with the Magister on disc. The first of our regular non-champion fighters is the Kairic Acolyte with Cursed Blade and Arcanite Shield. As with all Acolytes, this model has a shield. It'll have a defense of 4. In melee, it's out with 3 strength 3 attacks that do a single damage or 3 damage on a crit. Meanwhile, the Kairic Acolyte with Cursed Glaive and Arcanite Shield only has 2 attacks in melee, but will have a damage of 1 and a better critical damage value of 4. Its shooting attack is the same with 2 attacks at strength 3 doing 1-3 on the damage. Next is the Kairic Acolyte with paired Cursed Blades. This model has the same damage and strength on its profile as the Kairic Acolyte with Cursed Blade and Arcanite Shield, but has 4 attacks with its weapons instead. It also, due to not carrying a shield, does have a defense of 3, but is 5 points cheaper than the previous 2 options. Last of our non-rune marked Kairic Acolytes is the Kairic Acolyte with Scroll of Dark Arts. This model only has 2 attacks in melee, but it does have a better ranged attack, being strength 4 and an increased critical damage of 4 as well. Lastly, for the Kairic Acolytes is the Kairic Acolyte with Volchark. This model has the exact same attack profile as an Arcanite with Cursed Blade and Arcanite Shield, but only defense 3 due to not actually having a shield of its own. The Scout rune mark that it has will allow it to use a double ability called Volchark, which can stop an enemy fighter from making disengage actions this round. Our next box set is the Tzaangor, and like the Kairic Acolytes, this box set has a wealth of different fighter options for us to go look at, and we'll look at them now. First off, we have the Twist Bray. This is the fighter that is the unit champion of the Tzaangor. Has a slightly better attack profile and more wounds than a regular Tzaangor, and it also has the Leader rune mark as well, which will give it access to Master of Destiny like the other leaders we've talked about, but while it can actually have access to Locus of Sorcery, it doesn't have a ranged attack to benefit from this ability. The first of our regular Tzaangor fighters is Tzaangor with pair of Savage Blades. This is the cheapest option of the Tzaangor. They have 15 wounds like all Tzaangor and a defense of 3 as well. And in melee it attacks with 3 strength 3 attacks doing 1 damage or 4 damage on a critical hit. Tzaangor with a Savage Blade and Arcanite Shield is next. This model has 1 less attack than the previous option, but does go up to a solid defense of 4 thanks to having a shield. Then we have the Tzaangor with Savage Greatblade. By far the most expensive of the non-leader Tzaangor options, this fighter has 3 attacks with a strength of 4 and doing 2 damage standard or 5 on critical hits, making it easily the hardest hitting of the Tzaangor fighters. Lastly, we have the Tzaangor Mutant, which is a much cheaper option. It has a similar profile to the Tzaangor with pair of Savage Blades, with just an extra attack being the only difference. It does, however, have the Brute rune mark, which will allow it to use a double ability called Vicious Beak to deal some extra damage to an enemy within 1 inch. Next we move on to the demons, the first of these being the Flamers of Tzeentch. These demons have 15 wounds each and a defense of 3, along with a decent range and shooting profile, all of which hit at strength 3 and 2-4 on the damage. The Berserker rune mark will give them access to a quad ability called Capricious Warp Flame, which can deal damage equal to the value of the ability to all enemy fighters within 3 inch. The Pyrocaster is the unit champion for the Flamers of Tzeentch and how we can actually build a warband for the demons. This model jumps up to 20 wounds and does have an extra attack at range, taking it to 4 attacks at range in total. It has the Berserker rune mark just like its followers, and the Leader rune mark as well, which means it can use the Master of Destiny ability. Lastly, in the box we have the Screamers of Tzeentch. These models have the Beast rune mark, which does stop them from carrying treasure, but also the Fly rune mark to make use of their whopping 12-inch move. Their last rune mark is the Agile rune mark, which will allow them to use a triple ability called Latching Bite, which both boosts the strength of their next attack but also stops the target from making a disengage action. Moving on to our list, the first one we're going to look at is the Tzeentch Arcanite list. For this, we've gone with leaders Magister on Disc of Tzeentch, Kairic Adept, and the Pyrocaster joining in as an ally. Fighter-wise, we have 2 Tzaangor with pair of Savage Blades, a Tzaangor Mutant in there, and then a Kairic Acolyte with Scroll of Dark Arts, and a Kairic Acolyte with Volchark. If we are going to look at splitting this up into some battle groups, Battle Group 1 would have my Magister on Disc of Tzeentch, along with the Kairic Acolyte with Scroll of Dark Arts, and the Kairic Acolyte with Volchark, giving us some good control in this particular battle group. Battle Group 2 will just be the Kairic Adept and Tzaangor Mutant, a nice little close combat focused force, and then we have the Pyrocaster being protected by 2 Tzaangor with pairs of Savage Blades. Now we could also look to do a Demons of Tzeentch force. This would mean our leader would have to be the Pyrocaster, and then we've also brought in the Magister on Disc of Tzeentch as an ally. Fighter-wise, we will be rather light on 2 Flamers of Tzeentch as they are 165 points each, and a Screamer of Tzeentch as well. This means we will only have 5 fighters, but we will have a lot of wounds and some really good range damage on the table. Battle Group 1 will contain our Pyrocaster and a Flamer. Battle Group 2 will contain our Magister of Disc and our other Flamer. Meanwhile, our Screamer of Tzeentch will stand alone in Battle Group 3. We hope that this video was helpful in getting you started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry, and that I was able to give you some ideas and inspiration to start your own force in the game. If you have any other questions at all, please comment them down below and we'll endeavour to get back to you. And while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe and join our Discord server as well, linked in the video's description, for all our future Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry content.